Amazon is full of flashlights. Some of them are really good, some are not, and some are just really weird. In fact, they even kind of become memes because they're so strange. So I figured it would be kind of fun to buy some of them and try them out, right? So, here's what I got. I've got here 5 lights that really stood out to me as being quite strange. The 180-degree TripleLight, a pair of flashlight gloves, the zoomy arm light, this massive, ridiculous headlamp, and a small pair of flashlights for your shoes. So, out of these, I think I will start with the TripleLight because this is kind of the most normal flashlight of the bunch. So this so-called TripleLight gets its name from the 3 emitters up front that are kind of arrayed in a line like this. And the idea is that this provides a nice, wide, 180-degree beam of illumination, which is kind of a neat idea. I like that. And aside from the strange kind of hammerhead-shaped front of the light, it's really pretty normal. You've got the LEDs up front, a button on the side. As you press it, it just turns on high, then low, and then this obnoxious flashy mode, and then off. So dead simple to operate. So here on the packaging that I destroyed, they claim that this has an 800 lumen maximum output. Now, when I tested that, and I did do objective testing, so output and runtime measurements for all of these lights. But anyway, when I tested this light, it came out to like 500 lumens. So substantially less than what they're claiming. However, 500 lumens is actually a lot of light. That's quite bright, so I'm not really complaining considering this does just have 3 AA batteries. However, I did test this with both alkaline and nanoloops, and the nickel metal hydride cells were quite a bit brighter. It was like around 700, I think. So much closer to their claims, much better performance. So that's cool to see. Now the whole point of this TripleLight system is this beam right here. And I gotta say, it does have a very wide beam, but more than just being wide, it's very narrow. So it doesn't waste light shining up into the air or down on the ground. It just covers this wide area in front of you. And that's pretty cool. I think it does a great job. Unfortunately, the actual quality of the beam is quite terrible. It's a very cool white, and it just has a lot of ugly artifacts. It's an unpleasant pattern. I think it kind of lives up to the reputation of its as seen on TV roots, in that it's a kind of a neat idea, and it's a decent product that performs okay. But it's not great, and I wouldn't recommend it. So very tightly crammed in this little package are these glove flashlight things. And I guess the idea with these is that it allows you to see something that you're working on with your hands, so you don't have to hold a light. And you know, sometimes a headlamp can be kind of cumbersome because whatever you're looking at, there might be a shadow or something. So this allows you to get the light as close to your hands as possible. I believe that's the idea. So what's interesting about these aren't actually like full 5-finger gloves. These are just 2 fingers. So you stick your index finger and your thumb in here like this, and then you wrap this strap around and Velcro it like that. Then there's a little button here on the side, and these 2 little just like 5mm style LEDs that shine light. Oh, well, it looks like this one doesn't even work. Okay. Well, anyway, as you can see, now whatever I'm working on with my hands, I can see in there. Yeah, you see that? You see how useful that is? Yeah, that's not really that useful in my opinion. Also included is this screwdriver, so you can disassemble this and change the battery out. The build quality of these, you know, this is just like this really cheap elastic material. Are they useful? I don't know, I'm sure they are to somebody. All right, is my hair looking crazy enough for this video? Yeah. Okay, so this is a light I've seen making the rounds on the internet. This is the arm light. So this is just kind of a standard, cheap, zoomy flashlight with 2 little baby flashlights on the side. So it has these 2 little arms that swivel independently. These are just like plastic arms, but each one of them has an LED and a beaded optic that makes a nice floody beam. You have this main light, which you can zoom in and out, and you can kind of aim these side guys wherever you want. So the interface is really simple. You just press the main button, that turns on the main LED, press again, goes to the side, then all 3 of them, and then this obnoxious flashing mode. Yeah, the main flashlight is pretty straightforward. It's just like you'd expect. The primary LED is this really awful, cool blue-white color, And when you zoom it in all the way, you can see you get that like LED pattern. And then the side ones are a bit dimmer, but they're actually pretty floody and pretty nice. So they're not bad, aside from still being very blue and poorly colored. Overall, this flashlight is, you know, very cheap. And it does have a USB-C recharging and an included 18650. The included battery is super low capacity. It's less than 2 amp hours, so yeah, it's cheap. Also, they claim that this is 1000 lumens. I tested it at 275 at max power, so definitely not as bright as they're claiming. But yeah, overall, I don't like this light. It has poor performance, a poor beam, and I really don't know what you would use these arms for. I guess when you're like walking at night, you know, and you've got this zoomed in all the way and you're looking at something in the distance, you could have these pointed downwards. Maybe you don't have your shoe lights with you. Mostly it just looks really funny. So, you know, I do not regret buying this flashlight at all. These are little lights that just clip onto your shoes. They're really goofy. I think they were popular on like TikTok or something. The design is very basic. It's just a cylinder light, LED in the front, button and USB-C charging port in the back, and of course, a hinge and clip that allows it to go right onto your shoelaces. Okay, yeah. This is not difficult. There we go. So, you could just turn it on like that and walk around, and now you can see exactly where you're going. Yeah, you see that there? So, I mean, there's the practicality aspect. I mean, how useful is it really to have a light on your shoe? As you're walking around, it's gonna point like all over the place. It's not actually gonna be even steady lighting. But also, these lights in particular are very tight and throwy. It's like a little spotlight, which just exacerbates that effect. So as you're walking, it's just like the spotlight being thrown everywhere. It's not doing a very good job of illuminating the ground at your feet. On top of that though, they're not very great lights. The hinge, for one, gets kind of loose. So as you're walking, you know, if you have this pointed up, it'll slowly kind of start shifting down like that. And as you can see, this little bracket that holds the light, it's very easy for this to slide out. Even as you're like turning the light on and off, it's easy for this to just pop out here. The beam quality is not very good. It is very throwy and decently bright, not super bright. And the interface is, again, you press to turn it on, press to turn it to a lower mode, and then this flashy mode, I think it's SOS, and then press to turn it off. Yeah, and it's so annoying. Like even as you're pressing the button, it's like slipping out of this bracket like that. So yeah, not the greatest light. And again, I don't know why you want lights on your shoes, but hey, if you do, they're cheap. Okay, I want to talk about this flashlight. You see, there's this giant ridiculous headlamp on Amazon from this brand called Hunting Friends, which is kind of infamous for this ridiculous marketing picture of the headlamp on a mannequin's head, and it just looks absurd. That was actually the inspiration for this video. That was like the whole point, was I wanted to get that flashlight and test it. Unfortunately, about the time I was preparing to make this video and I was doing all my purchases, it went out of stock on Amazon, which made me really sad. I thought it was gonna come back in stock, so I ordered it from this other website called Bozy Shop, because I was like, oh, I'll just get it from there since I need to get the video done now. That turned out to be a scam, that store was fake, and the flashlight has never come back in stock, so I just bought a different one. That was also kind of ridiculous looking. So this is what I got. Anyways, let's get into this stupid thing. So this is part of a breed of flashlights that apparently is made for hunting raccoons. And as part of that, it is gigantic. So we have here the headlamp, which is this giant light right here, this plastic mount, and then this battery. It charges separately on the device. With this wall wart here. It's got a USB port and the DC port. This is actually a flashlight on its own right. So if you press this button, boom, look at that. It's a flashlight. It's kind of cool, actually. I like that. But we just take this and slide it into the light and then plug it in. There we go. Now, watch this. This is the fun part. Just stick it on my head like so. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't look that ridiculous on camera, but this thing is just so big. Like, why would you want this on your head? So the interface is pretty simple. You can see we got two buttons up here. This one on my right is what turns the light on. So if you just press it and then press again, it'll go high, low, flashy, off. That's kind of the standard with these cheap lights. But if you turn it on high and then you leave it for a bit, after, I don't know, like maybe 30 seconds or so, it'll just turn off when you press it again. So that's nice. Here's the thing about this flashlight, okay? It's huge. This is a giant metal reflector, so it's quite uncomfortable. But it's not without reason. Performance on this guy is actually pretty darn solid. So they claim, what do they claim? Okay, yeah, so they claim it's a 30-watt light. I measured 1500 lumens, which is quite bright, and unsurprisingly, this massive reflector is very intense. So I got like 68,000 candela. I think it was 68K. Means that it throws quite far. This has a really long throw. I was pretty darn impressed with it at night. Would I wear this raccoon hunting? Maybe. I mean, I've never been raccoon hunting. Here's the thing. This is an impressive flashlight. I like the battery system too, by the way. But like, why would you want this on your head? It's so big. And also this like slips, by the way. This doesn't hold very well. So yeah, you see that? Hold on a sec. Okay, so here's a flashlight that I reviewed like forever ago. This thing is like, I think it's the same intensity or very similar intensity. It's brighter for one. Great like searchlight, right? As you can see, there is a marked size difference here. This one's a lot smaller than this guy. This is like $40, I think. This is, I think, $80 or $90, so this is definitely a lot more expensive. But like, if you're really out there raccoon hunting, it's important. I kind of think this is sort of the way to go. You could say, wow, Ethan, you've never been raccoon hunting. Obviously, you need the light mounted on your head because your hands are busy doing hunting things. Or maybe it's just because this helps the light reflect out of their eyes back into your eyes. You know, retroreflector kind of stuff, which maybe is true, but there are smaller headlamps, which are also very throwy. Off the top of my head, the ThruNite Thrower is quite throwy, maybe not as much as this. Ace Beam, I think, also has a couple of really interesting thrower flashlights. So, I mean, there are options, definitely, for things that are smaller, but still throwy, that mount on your head. And if it's about, like, reflecting light out of reflectors, you know, raccoon eyes, you don't need something this absurd. Nonetheless, I'm not gonna lie, this light is actually super fun. This is probably the most fun light that I reviewed of this bunch. I have quite enjoyed it. So, do I recommend this? No, but yeah, I love it. Now I'm just going to talk about performance of these lights. I'm just going to kind of wrap it all into one here because they're basically all the same. I'm seeing unregulated, basically low quality drivers on all of these flashlights. None of them impressed me in terms of runtime or performance. This one, the Shoe Light and the Cafera, are both USB-C rechargeable. The battery that's included with this flashlight, it is nice that it includes an 18650, but it's like straight garbage. It has a very low capacity. This one I actually found performed pretty well with the included alkalines. I did a full runtime test, kind of killed them completely basically. I would recommend using this with rechargeable nickel metal hydrides as always. Basically just what you'd expect for pretty much all of these. Output starts high, drops pretty quickly, and then tapers off as the light dies. Not bad per se, but nothing impressive. The only one that I didn't do the runtime test on was these little glove lights because for one, I don't think it's even relevant for a light like this. But two, it has these little button cell batteries, and I just did not want to replace them. That was too much of a pain. So overall, how do I feel about these flashlights? Well, they're all ridiculous. Of the bunch, the TripleLight is honestly probably the best like all-around flashlight. It's pretty decent. It's not great. It's overpriced. I wouldn't recommend it per se, but like, it's serviceable. There's nothing wrong with it. Recommendations: glove lights, decent. This, don't recommend, but it's not the worst thing on the planet. This is awesome, actually. I love it. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. So if you enjoyed this video, I'm gonna have links to all of these products in the description if you want to buy them. Feel free to do that. It will support the channel, I think. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out some of the other flashlight videos that we got going on this channel. We have a lot of them.